This anime starts with the knight, really a gamer from Japan who had awoken in the body of his character, an 8-feet-tall skeleton with the best armor and weapons and all his physical and magical skills. Knowing a skeleton would scare people and make him a target, he decides to keep his helmet on at all times and renames himself Ark, using his game character's name. As he has no money, he attempts to become an adventurer but must earn his license by slaying 3 enemies. In the forest, he slays a bull boar and an orc, and while searching for a third enemy witnesses bandits attacking a coach. He sees 2 young ladies about to be hurt and violently kills the bandits. The ladies are the noble Lauren Louviert and her maid Rita. While they recover, Ark covertly loots all the bandits' valuables before escorting them to town.
I'm but a simple traveler on a winding journey.
He obtains his license and his first meal. Reasoning that he might be stuck in this new world permanently, Ark decides to have fun beginning his new life. Ark accepts a job protecting a young village girl named Marka as she collects medicinal herbs. They come across an injured kitsune which Ark heals. The creature decides it wants to stay with Ark, and he names it Panda for its fluffy tail. Hunters arrive with news of an extra dangerous monster in the forest. Marka leads Ark to a tree with valuable medicinal flowers, but finds the tree is now the territory of the monster, a basilisk. Fortunately, Ark has fought them before in the game and kills it quickly. However, he asks Marka to keep this a secret for fear of drawing unwanted attention. He notices a magic ring on the basilisk, which shatters and disappears after the monster is killed. He returns Marka to her mother, along with a giant fanged boar for the villagers to feast on, and then departs. Later that night, soldiers come across the larger corpse of the basilisk Ark killed. They notice it was killed by a single strike with an extremely large sword and wonder who killed it.
Well, Ponta, looks like another successful job.
It is revealed that Triton's son, Ulan, is putting himself at risk by leading an illegal slave operation. Back in the forest, a female elf watches Ark emerging from the bandits' cave and attacks him, accusing him of kidnapping elf children. But she sees Ponta, which she recognizes as a forest spirit creature. Since spirit creatures rarely trust mortals, she realizes Ark couldn't be a kidnapper. Ark offers his assistance, but she refuses. The next day, while trying to locate her, Ark finds the kidnapped elves being tortured by Ulan and his men. The female elf kills most of the slavers, but is forced to surrender when Ulan threatens the children. Ark overpowers Ulan and protects the children, allowing the elf to kill the rest. Ark then frees the captives and magically heals their wounds, to the elf warrior's amazement. She introduces herself as Arian Glenny's Maple. She receives a message that more enslaved elves have been located and hires Ark to help her. Ark and Arian travel to the town of Dinto where they meet Arian's elf comrade Danka, who immediately mistrusts Ark, although he is surprised Ark can use teleportation magic and manage to earn both Ponta's and Arian's trust. As Ark, Arian, and Danka depart on their mission, a shadowy figure watches from a rooftop. In the warehouse, Ark and the 2 elves find that all the slavers have already been expertly assassinated, and the assassin turns out to be a female ninja. Seeing Ponta, she realizes that Ark is trustworthy and gives him documents she stole naming nobles who have already purchased elf slaves, as well as the location of slaves kept by Lord Triton. After the trio frees the elves, Danka lets him and Arian go alone to Triton's palace.
They be alright?
Yes, if they work as a team.
Watching from a distance, the female ninja is surprised that Ark even knew what a ninja was and hopes to meet him again. After their attempt to silently enter the castle goes somewhat awry, Ark and Arian capture Triton and Udalet, and the 2 female elf slaves whom Triton had been sexually molesting take their revenge on Triton. Ark discovers a hidden treasure that he loots for himself. Explosions abruptly rock the palace, which Ark suspects was caused by the ninja. Arian invites Ark to visit the elf lands so they can continue rescuing slaves, although they would need an elder elf's permission for Ark to enter their lands. Because he will have to expose himself while meeting the elder, Ark removes his helmet, showing Arian his skull face and telling her his appearance is the result of a curse. Arian promises that all elves will keep his secret and hopes the elder may know how to fix his appearance. In the capital city of Oav, the human King Carlon and his children decide to investigate the rumors of slavery, which violates the human-elf peace treaty. They decide to contact the elves, though it is clear both princes have their own hidden agendas. After a journey of some days, Ark and Arian reach Lalatoya, an enormous elf settlement deep in the forest.
One.
Hey, I got the okay.
Ark meets the elder, Dylan, and his wife Glenny's, who are also Arian's parents. Dylan is grateful that the slaves were rescued but worries that their attack on Triton's palace has proved problematic. The elders, unwilling to risk war, decide to continue rescuing slaves in secret. Ark decides to have a bath, but when Arian enters the bath naked, she sees Ark in full skeleton mode, panics, and blasts him with explosions. Dylan officially hires Ark to help Arian continue freeing slaves, and as payment tells Ark of a magic pool that might cure his skeletal appearance, but which is only found near the Lord Crown, a spirit tree that grows in the territories of dragon lords, the most dangerous dragons in the world. Ark accepts the payment, but when alone becomes curious to see if his appearance really is caused by a curse, and is shocked when using a curse-breaking spell on himself, he gives himself a human right hand. Ark's hand instantly returns to the bone, but it confirms that Ark's appearance is indeed cursed. He and Arian set out for Oav, hunting the slave-owning nobles. They are warned by an innkeeper that haunted wolves have been attacking travelers. Arian considers hunting the wolves. The wolves do attack, and Ark realizes the pack leader is wearing a magic ring like the basilisk. He destroys the ring, waking the pack leader from a trance. The leader then takes his pack and leaves peacefully. Ark is sure the rings are the reason monsters are acting strangely. Ponta senses danger and leads Ark to where Uriana's coach has been attacked. And Uriana, her maid Ferna, and her loyal guards have been killed by treacherous guards and assassins. The killers attack him, but Ark's armor proves invulnerable to their weapons and magic, and he kills most of them with unexpected assistance from the wolves. Using a powerful rejuvenation spell, Ark resurrects Uriana, Ferna, and several loyal guards before sneaking away. Ark is unsure about the morality of a spell that can resurrect the dead and keeps what he did secret from Arian. Reaching Oav, they witness a young woman expertly defeating thugs, and Ark recognizes her as the cat-eared ninja. The ninja, Chiom of the Jinshin clan, is searching for members of her species enslaved by humans. She asks Ark how he knows about ninjas since that word was created by their great founder, a human named Hanzo, whom Ark realizes must be another Japanese, a person who came to this world and founded a ninja clan centuries ago. Chiom asks for their help and Arian, as Ark's employer agrees. Chiom asks Ark and Arian to attack Etsat's slave market as obviously as possible, thereby distracting the city guards so that the ninja can infiltrate the other markets. Ark hides his unique armor under a cloak and tribal mask. Chiom introduces Gomen, a fellow ninja, causing Ark to realize Hanzo named himself after Hattori Hanzo and used the names of other famous ninjas as honorary titles. As Gomen is a giant as tall and powerfully built as Ark, they instinctively challenge each other, then, realizing that they're evenly matched, become instant friends. Ark and Gomen attack the market guards and compete to outdo each other, but go overboard and accidentally bury themselves under the rock as Chiom and the exasperated Arian watch.
We should go.
Learning of the attack, Dakar sends soldiers to protect the slave markets. Arian and Chiom begin freeing slaves while dispatching the guards. Gomen sends Ark to join up with Arian and Chiom while he holds off arriving reinforcements. The Beast People are easily freed, but Ark, Arian, and Chiom also find a cell full of dead slaves killed or left to die for being unsellable as too old, injured, or sick. Ark teleports the survivors to safety, then rejoins Gomen to massacre the soldiers and utterly destroy the market. Cetrian murders Dakars, revealing he was working for Sect all along, and since Uriana has not been located, Sect frames Dakars for Uriana's apparent murder, leaving him the sole heir to the throne of Rodan. Uriana arrives in Limbold and learns from Siriona of Dakar's death, realizing Sect probably plotted her murder as well and decides to keep her survival a secret for the time being.
For now, I will carry out my duty from behind the scenes.
Chiom reveals to Arian that Dakars was working for the Holy Revlon Empire and sent them many elf slaves. Arian and Ark decide to travel there immediately. They reach a village on the edge of the desert. Ark notices that Arian is unusually nervous and learns that the slave trade in elves is legal in Revlon, so she is worried about traveling there. At the village tavern, an elf, Karsi Held, introduces himself and explains that he is able to coexist with the villagers and makes a living studying monsters. He asks for Ark's help in catching difficult monsters, offering a map of Revlon as payment. Arian struggles with the idea of coexistence, and over a cask of wine that evening in their room, Ark, unfortunately, discovers that Arian is both a lightweight and a bad drunk. The next morning, Arian is furious to discover that her antics have caused the villagers to think that she and Ark had playing all night.
You would tell me if it did, wouldn't you?
Karsi plans to capture a sandworm using goblin carcasses as bait. Suddenly, they are attacked by a worm that has grown far larger than natural, and only Ark is strong enough to defeat it. Another ring is seen on the sandworm but shatters and disappears after the worm's defeat. The worm's unnatural growth is revealed to be caused by Fumba, who has been feeding them and other monster slaves and kidnapped villagers on behalf of Emperor Domitianus. Ark, Arian, and Punta arrive at the border town of Kasake. In order to find the captured elves, they separate and Ark learns that strange cries have been heard late at night from a fortress to the east and that people have been mysteriously disappearing. On his way to meet up with Arian, Ark rescues a street girl from 3 kidnappers.
But I need to thank him first.
Or you could do what I told you.
Arian has learned that captured elves had been brought to the fortress 4 months before and insists on investigating the fortress. Sneaking in and finding a secret passageway, they arrive at an underground chamber where they confront Fumba. Suddenly, Arian attacks Ark, bewitched into believing she is training with her sister Even. Ark spots an imp hidden inside Arian's cloak hood. Punter rips it out and Ark destroys it, freeing Arian from its control. Fumba reveals that he is a Razambanya monster sorcerer who can make monsters obey him. Ark questions him about the elves, but Fumba tells him that most of the elves were used in the Empire's magic experiments while he used the remainder as food for his pet. Enraged, Ark quickly kills the white tiger monster and Fumba orders his other controlled monsters to attack. Ark is easily able to slay the monsters, but when an ogre attacks the unconscious Aryan, Chiom appears and uses her water ninjutsu to overcome it, telling Fumba that the other Jinshin ninja has already dealt with his other monsters. Suddenly, the ground begins shaking and Fumba flees, saying his greatest monster has awoken. Ark teleports everyone outside, where they are confronted by a 5-headed Hydra. The Hydra attacks Ark, Aryan, and Chiom with its fiery breath, leading Fumba to believe they have been destroyed. Fumba sends the Hydra to destroy Kasek. Ark uses his holy shield to protect everyone. They split up, with Aryan and Chiom chasing after Fumba while Ark stays behind to deal with the Hydra. Before the Hydra can reach Kasek, Ark summons the infernal demon Ifrit to battle the Hydra. Aryan and Chiom catch up with Fumba, and Aryan taunts him with his personal weakness. When Fumba is goaded enough to attack her, Chiom attacks him and damages the magical body markings that allow him to control monsters. Aryan's fiery sword destroys Fumba's whip and the flames consume him. With the Hydra damaged by Ifrit's attack, Ark flings it into the air and Ifrit destroys it with its flames. Meanwhile, Princess Urarna meets with Elven elders Dylan and Lord Fangus. They agree that the Rodent Kingdom will take responsibility for the crimes against the elves. They will also locate the missing, enslaved elves and defend Elven territories in exchange for the elves backing Urarna in her bid for succession to the Rodent throne. After learning this news, which means Aryan's mission is now officially over, Aryan is uneasy and uncertain about the future, but Ark and Chiom reassure her. Chiom sees Ark's unhelmeted face for the first time, and Ark decides to continue his travels with his friends.